Edward is a 7-year-old boy with blue eyes and curly brown hair. He loves reading books and is always eager to learn, hence his nickname, Eager Edward. He lives with his father and mother in a very old house in the country. Edward has a playroom where he keeps his favourite toy, a very special hobby horse called Charlie. Charlie has a beautiful shiny brown coat and 2 white diamond markings on his forehead. These are what make him so very special. Whenever Edward plays with Charlie, he always makes sure he has his favourite handkerchief with him, with his initials EE on it, and a comb in his pocket. These are very important if Edward and Charlie are to have their adventure and get back home safely. Upstairs, at the end of the long hallway, is a full-length mirror, which Edward's father said came from China a long, long time ago, and has magical powers. Edward was just finishing his homework when his mother called out,
"Come on, Edward, time to get ready for bed."
He washed his face and hands, made sure he cleaned his teeth properly, and changed into his blue striped pajamas. Then he combed his hair and put the comb back into his pocket. Edward was allowed to play for a while, so he went into his playroom, where, in the corner, stood Charlie. Edward leaned across his box of toys and picked him up.
"Hello, Charlie. Shall we have an adventure?"
Charlie appeared to nod his head as if to say yes. Edward grabbed his rucksack, which had a torch and other important things in it, climbed onto Charlie, and said excitedly,
"I hope you've got your wings with you, 'cause we're gonna fly!"
He turned Charlie towards the door and into the hallway.
"Come on, boy. Giddy up, Charlie."
Edward rode Charlie down the long hallway, running faster and faster towards the magic mirror. He waved his handkerchief in the air, giving a yell at the same time.
Whee! Here we go!
And as Charlie's 2 diamond markings were reflected in the glass, Edward and Charlie launched themselves through the mirror and into their magical adventure.
Magic wingbeats fill the sky, magic sparkles, see him fly.
Hey, hey, Charlie!
The children cry,
Charlie is our hero!
magic wingbeats fill the sky, magic sparkles, see him fly.
Hey, hey, Charlie!
The children cry.
Charlie has now changed into a real horse, with a beautiful mane and a long flowing tail. Now he also has magical powers. Edward and Charlie were flying very high, but gradually found themselves simply floating through space. They began to turn and tumble. Over and over they went, until suddenly, with a heavy thud, Edward landed on the floor, still rolling as Charlie landed upside down next to him, with all 4 legs in the air.
Oh, ouch! I'm feeling quite dizzy. Where are we?
I don't know.
They struggled to their feet, still very dazed, and looking around.
Wow! Look at all this, Charlie!
He clambered into a huge swivel command chair and whirled himself around.
This is brilliant! Come over here, Charlie! Look at all these controls!
Just as Charlie was squeezing himself into the seat, he was startled by a sudden loud noise.
What's that?
Then came a strange-sounding voice.
Come in, Spacehorse 1. Come in, please. This is Euston Station calling. Come in, Spacehorse 1. Are you there?
Edward and Charlie did not know what to do, but after a short while, it all went quiet. Just then, Edward noticed a tiny window. They looked out and saw that they were very high up. Below them they could see a round object. It was mainly blue, with white patches over it.
It's the moon!
No, look again, Charlie. It's Earth. We're in a spaceship. We're in outer space.
Then the radio crackled again.
This is Houston Station calling. If you flick the blue switch on your left, you can talk to me.
Edward followed his instructions. He flicked the blue switch and spoke.
This is Spacehorse 1, receiving you loud and clear. What are your orders, Houston? Over?
Edward had read lots of books about space and sounded very impressive. Then came the reply from Houston.
You are to meet up with the Space Film Company. They want you to reenact a nursery rhyme for a special digital space effects program. Charlie is to fly to the moon, and the camera crew will film him jumping over it.
Wow! I'm going to be famous! I'm going to be a film star! All those nursery rhyme books about the cow jumping over the moon? Huh! Nobody will want to read about her anymore. They'll want to watch me on their digital television screens.
Suddenly, Charlie's thoughts were rudely interrupted.
Come on, Charlie. It's time for you to jump over the moon.
Edward helped him towards the special launching
Right,
hatch.
stand by, everyone. On the count of 3, Edward will open the hatch. Ready, Charlie? 1, 2, 3, go!
Edward pressed the button that swung open the hatch. Charlie was a little hesitant, so Edward gave him a friendly push from behind. Charlie stumbled at first, rather nervously, but then as he relaxed, he found that he could majestically swim through space.
This is wonderful. This is so easy.
Passing the bright yellow moon on his left, Charlie gracefully turned, just like an aeroplane, with a long, sleek fuselage and wide, tapering wings. Now, he was dead on course for the moon. He took a deep breath and waited for the right moment to jump.
Now, Charlie, jump now!
With all his strength, Charlie launched himself and leapt higher and higher. He kept going until, suddenly, all the cameras started clicking and flashing wildly. The film crew were doing their job, and the frantic whirring of the motion cameras could also be heard. Moments later,
Cut! That was absolutely brilliant, Charlie. Well done!
the film crew had the pictures they wanted. Now, a new story and nursery rhyme could be written, all about the horse that jumped over the moon.
Is that it?
He clambered onto the moon and made himself comfortable. He looked around and noticed that he was surrounded by beautiful bright stars in the sky. He relaxed, began grooming himself, and took the time to carefully dig out a stone from his hoof, which had been troubling him for a few days.
Oh, that's better.
He was whistling a tune to himself when suddenly his tranquility was shattered.
We finished now, Charlie. It's time for you to get back to the spaceship.
Although Charlie was disappointed to have to leave so soon, he did, however, look forward to swimming through space again. Edward opened the hatch and waited for Charlie to appear at the entrance. Suddenly, 2 long legs appeared, and a head, but the rest of Charlie did not. Charlie had got himself stuck, with 2 legs in the spaceship and his 2 hind legs left dangling out in space. Poor Charlie, he did look a sight. With a lot of huffing and puffing, Edward finally pulled Charlie through the opening, and they both collapsed in a heap on the floor.
Oh! Charlie, get off me! You're so heavy!
Edward managed to roll Charlie off of him, then struggled to his feet, and was able to close the hatch door.
You've played your part, Charlie, but I'm not so sure if the director will keep the bit in where you were picking your toes.
Well, I'm a star. And by the way, they're not toes. Horses have hooves.
Edward had no answer, of course. Charlie was right. He checked his watch and realized they'd been in space for a long time. And although Charlie's head was still in the clouds, Edward whispered to him that it was time for them to go. Edward climbed up onto Charlie's back and got out his handkerchief and special comb. He polished Charlie's 2 white diamond markings with the corner of the handkerchief with EE on it. He then combed the hair gently across Charlie's forehead so that it covered the 2 white diamonds, then said the magic rhyme.
Polish the diamonds, hide them with the comb, return us safely, all the way home.
He waved his handkerchief high in the air. Then, in a flash, they were gone. The very next moment, they were standing in front of the mirror, with just the last shower of sparkles falling to the floor. Edward looked at Charlie and saw that he was just a hobby horse once more. He carried him back to his playroom.
What a fabulous adventure we've had! Did you like it?
But of course, Charlie didn't answer. Edward carefully stood him in the corner, ran back into his bedroom, set his alarm clock, and got into bed. He had to be up early for school in the morning.
Good night, Charlie.
Not expecting a reply. Then came a voice.
Good night, Edward.
It was Charlie. But how? Go to sleep now and wonder.
The hero and Edward too. They always find a lot of marvelous things to do. Lots of valleys, lots of hills, lots of fun and lots of thrills. Our hero never needs a place to hide with Edward by his side. Both heroes. Charlie's 2 white diamonds. Sparkles fall to the floor. A cloud of dust swirls around as colored sparkles fall to